Welcome, this is Vijay from Dino Code Academy. So in this lecture we are going to design the XML part of our application. So let's start this lecture. So head back to Android Studio. So you can see that I have already created an empty activity project inside the Android Studio. So you need to also do that. So when you create an empty activity project inside the Android Studio, so you will get two files. The first is activity main.xml and the second is main.activity.java. So I have created this project by using Java. So in this whole project we are going to use the Java. So before I start coding, we need to add first some dependencies. So open your module.applevel Gradle file and at the end of here just make a little room. So I need to copy some dependencies. So first dependency that we want is a card view dependency and the second we want is a design dependency. Just I'm going to paste it here and you can see that it gives us an error. So we need to make sure that all the versions are same. So copy it and paste it here. Then again paste it for here also. And after that just click on this sync now. So it will sync the project. So you can see that now the Gradle sync is finished. Now we are good to go. So simply click this module file. Then first just click on this text view and just delete it and click on this text so that you can get the code view of the XML. Just I'm going to click on this project tab so that you can see everything more clearly. Just make it little minimize. So the first thing that we want, don't need to use this, so just delete it. And I also just make it a little spacing and just delete this one, and at the end just press enter key. Now in this application we are going to use a linear layout, so change the constraint layout to linear layout and the same copy it and paste it here also, because the opening and closing time should be same. You can see that actually looks nice. Now it's time to set the orientation. So orientation I'm going to give it as vertical. Then click on this design button so that you can get into the design editor of the XML, and from there I'm going to select the first text view and drag it inside this linear layout. So you can see that now the text view is appearing at our linear layout, means inside the linear layout. Then again I'm going to select another text view and placing it inside the linear layout. Now you can see that all of these text views are appearing at the top of the screen. So we need to make it at the center and also apply some styles. So before doing that, I'm also going to do what? Just expand this rest directory and this values directory and opening the style.xml file, and from there I'm just removing this dark action bar to no action bar. Just close this style.xml file and just click on this text tab. Again click on this project tab, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to first give the ID to this text to as txt correct answer. Then for the second text to ID, I'm going to give it as txt right answer. With the corresponding name, I am also going to give in the text corresponding name to correct answer and make it a little space. Then again here it should be of right answer and making a space. I also want to give the gravity of the linear layout to center. Now both of the text are appearing at the center. Now it's time to apply the styles. So first just make a little room here. So first property that I want is actually a text color. So I'm going to give the text color to pure white, and you can see that looks like nothing is displaying. So we also want to give the background color. So background color I'm going to give it as black. You can give whatever color you want, but for the simplicity, for the demo, I'm just using this black and white combination because it looks little bit nice. Now the next property I'm going to give it as text size, that is of 35 sp. Then again the next property is actually text style, that should be of bold. Then the visibility, so the visibility I'm going to make it invisible at the end of the lecture. So also I want the text alignment property to center. Now it's look like, and also I want to give the padding. So the padding should be around 30 dp. After padding we need to give the margin. So it's a margin top is around 20 dp. Then similarly we need to apply the same code for the second text view as well. So I'm going to copy it and just add the end. Here I am going to paste it. Now the padding, I'm just reducing the padding to just around 10 dp. The rest of the code will be same. So correct answer, right answer, so just make it here space. So this is right answer. So here we will display our right answer. Now again I'm going to click on the design view. So for before that, just here search for the card view. Now the card view will be displayed here because we have added the dependency for the card view. Then inside of this card view, I'm going to place a one text view. Then again click on this text view to modify the code. Now I prefer to modify the code through coding because it's make it faster. So you can see that now the card view is actually appearing, taking the whole space of the screen. That is because its width and height are actually set to the match parent. So I'm going to set its height to wrap content. And you can see that it's actually appearing. Now I'm also going to give the corner radius. So simply type here radius. So that will display a corner radius. So I'm going to give the corner radius to 10 dp. The next thing that I want is actually a margin. So I'm going to give the margin to 20 dp. So to make a little spacing between them, then simply copy the code, that is from padding to the color text view, copy it and just at the end paste it here. So and also change the ID to the txt question container. Now make it as its height to match parent and also its height to be match parent. The only thing that we want to change, just background color I want to be white, so just simply change it to triple F, and the text color I want to be black. And I also want to give the background color to the linear layout, so just type here background and just use a hashtag, then FFF, then from this square, just if you click on this square button, that is a square, so you can change it color from here. So I want this bluish color. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to check with this color. Now card view corner radius is not looking good, so I'm also going to give the card view background color. So just simply hashtag FFF. So I'm going to give it a little grayish color because the text view is appearing taking the whole color space. That's why we need to give the same color to the card view. So instead of giving color to the card view, because card view is actually fully hidden by the text view, so cut it and paste it here. So you can see now the text view actually looks like little darker gray, or we can say it whatever, little light darker gray. After that, here we will display a random text for our application. So here type a random text. Now again click on the design view and again search for the card view inside the search bar and just select the card view and drag it inside the linear layout. Then inside of this card view, just drag a one plain text which is a edit text and click on this. Just minimize it and click on this text button to go into the text editor of the application. Then again you can see that the card view is taking the whole space, so we need to change its width to should be match parent, the height is going to be wrap content, and the edit text we are going to make it into match parent and the height should be of match parent. Then again copy the corner radius property and margin top property from the previous card view and paste it inside this card view. Now for the edit text, simply copy this text color property to the padding and paste it inside the edit text. So you can see that it looks like a button that's not looking good. So just change the color to the bright white. Instead of text, we want to here make it hint so that user don't need to delete the text and then type it because it's irritating. So and also going to display a enter message. So here I will type enter your text, so that user can get the idea what user needs to type here. After doing that, the margin top property, we need to specify the margin top property to 60 dp. After doing that, it's time to increase the padding as well. So I'm going to give the padding to 20 dp, increasing the corner radius to be around 15 dp. And similarly for this one as well, 15 dp. Now you can see that the one problem, the background color is not changing. So that's actually the newer version of Android Studio creates a problem. So I don't know what it's doing. So it's time when we build the application, then I will see if it's still getting the problem. So I will try to fetch the solution. So right now the entire canvas looks like purely white. So let me first complete the design process. So maybe at runtime it will display the things correctly. Now here we need to display 3 buttons. So before doing that, I'm going to run the application to see why this background color is not appearing inside my linear layout. So I hit OK. Now you can see that our application is running, but you can see the problem in the design editor. The color is not showing, means the linear layout background color is not displaying. But when I run the application into virtual emulator, it's actually showing. So this is the problem of the Android Studio, and I'm using the Android Studio version 3.1.2. So that's actually the problem. So maybe the updated version will fix this problem. So I'm going to minimize this application, but I also want to change this bar color to be blue. So just copy this color code, and just click on this project tab, just open the color.xml, and from here just simply paste this color to here, and also here, hit a then close this code. And what I want to do, we want to display 3 buttons, but you can see that there is very less space is available, so I need to decrease the padding, and you can see that at the top there is a lot more space is available. So before removing the padding, I'm going to place one linear layout here. So for that, just click on this design tab again, is the design button, and just click on this layouts, and from there select a horizontal linear layout and drag it at the linear layout hierarchy. Inside of this linear layout, I'm going to place 3 buttons. So there is the first button, then there is the second button, then there is the third button. Then again click on the text button to go into the XML editor code view, and from there we are going to modify these buttons. So first, the linear layout is automatically sets the weight sum property. So here we will type a weight sum property. So I will type here weight sum, and I will be giving the weight sum property to 3. Then from the margin top, we want margin top around 50 dp. And after that, we need to apply the button. So I'm going to style the first button, then I will be copy and pasting the code. So the first thing we want is actually text all caps. So the first property, that text all caps, should be false. Then the second property is actually text style, that should be bold. And then the text size property, that should be of 25 sp. After that, we want to give the text color. So the text color I'm going to give it as pure white, so triple F. After that, there is a background color. So background color I want to give it as red. So first I will type the triple S and F. Then by selecting this pop-up menu, here I can select the red color. And after that, I'm going to give the padding. So the padding should be around 30 dp. So it looks like a little bigger, so I'm going to reduce it into 20 dp, maybe 25 dp. And also text size, I'm going to increase it into like 30 sp. Now the padding is actually seems to be very large, so it's make it into another. Now the padding is actually seems to be a little more, it's not look nice, so I'm going to reduce the padding to 20 dp again. So again, if I click on the design editor, so you can see that still not changing the code. That's because the Android Studio problem. So just leave it as. Now again, I'm going to copy this code. Now again, I'm copying this code and paste it into all the other buttons. But the third one, I want to change this color to little bit different. So I make it a little darker, not this one. I don't want to make the first one darker. I just want to make the second one darker. So this is the second one. Just click on it and make it little darker. Then also change the corresponding text. So the first text is show, and this text is around check, and the text of this button is. So now the coding is done. It's time to build the application to see whether this is working or not, because in the design editor you can see that it's still not showing the background color. So I'm going to build it into my virtual emulator again. So you can see that our application is running, but in the design editor you can see that it's still not showing the background color, but in the virtual emulator when I build the application it's showing the color. That is the linear layout color, which is blue. I also want to change this random text color, means the random text background color text view, to white, because the gray is not looks like good. So just click on this and make it into pure white, and again try to build the application. So you can see that it's look nice. Now all are same. I also want to reduce this padding because I want the padding from top to be more. So just reduce this padding to be, this is the edit text. So I want to decrease the padding around 40 dp, and I want to increase the padding of this text view. So this should be around 30 dp, and from the top that is a padding for this text view. So from margin top I am going to make it at 30 dp. Again I am trying to build the application. So the designing is actually a hit and trial process. You need to first code it and then experiment it with again and again by applying some small changes. So now you can see that the application looks fine. So that's the OK layout. If I want to make more additions to this layout, you can do it by yourself. Just for the demonstration purpose, I am going to stick with this layout. So now the designing is done. It's time to give the IDs to the all text view, that is the txt container. So it's time to give the ID to this edit text. So I'm going to give the ID to this et user input. Then similarly for giving the ID to this button, that is the first button, this is for bt show, that is bt show, and similarly this button ID I'm going to give it as bt check, and then click on this next button, give it ID as not bt check. This is our button bt check, so just cut it here. And the ID of this button is bt next. The padding seems to be very large, so I'm going to make it padding to be 15 dp, because that's not looks nice, because the button looks like little more square. And paste it again, and just paste it again. So I have removed the action bar. So at the top I just like more padding, so just here I just make it around 50 dp. Now it's time to run the application again to see that everything is working fine. So designing of the XML takes a little time, but once it is done, the application looks nice. So you can see that this is the final designing of our application that we are going to use throughout this series. So that's all about this lecture. Welcome, this is Vijay from Dynocode Academy. So in this lecture, we are going to fetch the IDs of all the views inside the main activity file. So if you not watched the previous video, which is the designing of this application, that is just the word application, so please watch the previous video. So let's start this lecture. So head back to Android Studio. So you can see that in previous lecture, we have successfully created this layout. Now it's time to fetch all the IDs of these views, that is all buttons, edit text, and all these three text view inside our main activity.java file. So just click on this main activity.java file, and here at the top, first I'm going to declare some variables. So first I'm going to type text view. So this is the text view. Just simply hit enter key and then name your text view. So the first is correct answer. Then the second is txt right. And the third one is txt question container. Now it's up to you how you want to name your variable name. It's totally up to you, or you can say that the view variable's name. After that, I'm going to type here edit text, then hit the enter key and then et user input, then hit a semicolon. Then we have 3 buttons, so for that I'm going to type here a button, then bt check, then the semicolon, then comma, then another name of the button, that is bt show, then comma, then third is bt next, then hit a semicolon. Now it's time to initialize all this view inside our onCreate method. So just make a room inside the onCreate method and type here first txt question container equals to find view by id. Then here type r.id dot and then txt question correct answer, not question, then semicolon, then again txt right answer equals to find view by id r.id dot and then txt right answer, then semicolon. After that txt question container equals to find view by id, then again r.id dot and then our txt question container id. Now this is the id, or this actually we have specified in our main.xml file. So the id is a unique identifier that identifies the element that is present inside our XML layout. So that's why the id should be unique for every view. Now switch back to again main activity. Then now it's time to fetch all the other views. So first type it user input equals to find view by id, not finish. It's a find view by id, then again r.id dot and then the et user input id. So I name my variable name and the id name same so that it avoid confusions. Next time for button, so first bt check is equal to find view by id, then r.id dot, then here bt check, then again hit a semicolon, then for a bt there is the next button, then equals to find view by id again and then r.id dot and then bt next, then hit a semicolon, then again bt which is a show and then equals to find view by id. I make a typo while typing the name of the function, then again find view by id, hit a tab key or maybe you can use it enter key, whatever you like, then again that's the next method, so bt next. Note, it is not a next, it is actually show, then hit a semicolon. Now we have successfully initialized all of our views. So in this lecture I am also going to type one method, that is mix words. So let's do it. So at the end of the onCreate I am going to press enter and then here I will declare one method. So I will type private, then this method is of type string, so I press the string key and then I name my method as mix words. Then again I start the brackets of the method. Then here this method will accept one parameter. So I will type string and the name of our parameter, that is word. Then opening and closing braces of our method, which is the body of method. So you can see that it gives an error, so it will return a one string value. So now I'm going to write the more code inside of this method. So first I will use a list. So hit the enter key. Then this list should be of string because the method is of string. And then I will type the name of the method name, that is words, equals to, then here I will use a class called arrays, that is java.utpackage dot as list. Now this word is actually a parameter that we have specified to this method. So now let's type the more code. So dot split and then here simply type empty brackets and at the end semicolon. Now it's time to use the collections class. So this is the second one we want, collections dot shuffle, which will shuffles the alphabets of our array variables, and then a string is equal to name of the variable. So I will type it as mixed equals to, and I initialize it to empty semicolon. Then after that I am going to use a for each loop. Then this is a string and hit the space key and then I, then colon, and then need to use the words which is our this variable name, then starting the body of our for each loop, then inside of this I'm going to type mixed, then plus equal to I and a semicolon. Then after that we need to return the value that is mixed at the end of the for loop. Next and then a semicolon. So that marks the completion of our method that is mix word. Now at the top of this I'm going to create an array of string. So let's do it. So here first I will write a one command that is declaring. Then here I will type string, then the square brackets of array, then the name of our array that is days equals to, then new, and it should be of type string, then the body of our string array, and I will mark it as semicolon. Then inside of this I am going to type first Sunday. You can use it whatever you like the name of our calendars, month, or maybe the colors name, or whatever you want to like. I'm just going to use a simple example that is the days of name. Or you can use some country names to make this application to the next level. So I will show you the modifications of the application. You can see that I have typed all the days name of our week. So you simply press enter, and here I am going to type some more variable names. So the first variable that we want is a string of a day, then a random variable name, random, then again a random, at a semicolon. Then this random variable should be initialized at the inside the onCreate. So let's do it. So at the end of the onCreate, here I will write a comment initializing, and here I will type a random equals to new, and it should be equal to the random class, then semicolon. So that's all about this lecture. In this lecture we have initialized all of our views, we have declared the array that we are going to use to shuffle the alphabets of the array and display it inside this text view, and then user need to guess the text and type it here, then we will add the functionality. So in next lecture I am going to add the functionality to all of these buttons. So that's all about this lecture. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Dynocode Academy. So in this lecture we are going to add the actual logic to our guess the word application. Now if you not watched the previous video, then I highly recommend you to watch the previous lecture of this application. You can watch it and then you can come to this video and watch it again. I'm saying that is because you will get a complete idea what's going in this guess the word application. So let's start this lecture. To head back to Android Studio. So here at the end of the random variable initialization, just press enter key and here type a variable name called day and initialize it to, now this variable we have declared at the top of here. You can see that at the top of the random variable in declaration. Just initialize it to days, which is the name of our array variable name, then the array brackets, and inside of this type a random, that is a variable that we have initialized it at the top, then random dot next int, then random dot next int, and inside of this next int just type the variable name of array again, that is days dot length, and at the end hit a semicolon. Now this line actually does what? It actually randomly shuffle the elements of the array, means the one element of the array. Then after that press the enter key, then here type txt question container dot set text. Then here we will call a method that is mixwords, and this method will accept a one parameter. That's why it's giving us an error. Here you can see that it will accept a string parameter. So we will specify a parameter that is day, because we have initialized a one array element to this day variable, and randomly it will pick up any one element and initialize it to day variable according to the length of the array. Then after that, inside of the text container we call this method that is mixword by passing the day as a parameter. Then this day parameter is passed to this method, and the method call actually does here. So the control comes to this private string mixword method. Then inside of this method it will first create a list of words and as an array list and split it into different alphabets. Then after that it will shuffle the collections, and then with the use of the string mixed variable, it will initialize each and every loop of the variable and initialize it to this mixed variable. Then after that this mixed variable is returned, so the value will be returned to here, that is this word, means in place of this body a value of mixed word will be placed. That is a reverse shuffling of the method, means that if there is a Friday, then the alphabets of the Friday will be shuffled in a different way, and that will be set to the text container. So this is the working of this logic, and I know it sounds confusing, but this is the best I can do for you guys, because this comes with the practice day by day when you working with different kinds of application, exploring the codes on the Stack Overflow and different websites. Then you will get to know about the internal working of the application. So enough talk, let's set the listener to the button. So first I'm going to press some enter key, then here I will type a BT, and first we are going to set the listener to our check button. So I'm going to call set on click listener, then here I will type a new, then view dot on click listener. It will automatically complete the code for us. Then inside of this on create, we are going to make some comparisons by using conditional statements, that is first if statement. So I will type here if, then it user input dot get text dot toString. We are going to convert it into string dot equals ignore case, because we are going to ignoring the case whether it's an alphabet or whether it's in capital or in small case. Then here we will compare the value of our day variable, that is this one. Now opening the closing braces of if block. Now inside of this I'm going to first type a toast statement, toast dot make text. So I can use this toast that automatically created for us. Then here I will type you are correct. Then we also need a else block. If the answer is not correct, then we will type here another toast, you are wrong. Instead of the message you can display you are wrong. So that marks the completion of the code for our check statement. Then after that we also need to do some work. We need to set the listener to our next button, so that when the user click on this next button, we want to change the random text. So let's do it. So first at the end of this on check listener, I'm going to type here BT, that is next dot set on click listener. Then instead of this new, then type view on dot, so it will automatically complete the code for us. And inside of this next button, first just simply copy the code that we have already written, because we again need a reshuffling code of the alphabets. Just paste it here, and inside of this we also need to handle some cases. So I'm going to handle all the cases once I run the application to show you some bugs, that how we can handle the bug inside of our Android Studio. And after that we need to set the listener to our show button. So that is BT show dot set on click listener, and here type new dot view dot on click listener. But before that we need to make this both this correct answer text view and this is the right answer text view to invisible. So I will type here visibility, so invisible. Then again for this text view, then type visibility to invisible. Then these two text views are now become invisible. Then switch back to main activity again. Then instead of this show button, we want to show the correct answer and also make this text view both visible. So first I will type here txt correct answer dot set visibility, set visibility, then type a view, that is a view class dot visible, and again we want a txt right answer dot set text, not set text, it's set visibility, then view dot visible. After that we need to set the right answer to the text view, so just txt right answer dot set text, press the tab key, then here pass a parameter that is day that contains a value in a form of string. So that marks the completion of our code. Now it's time to run the application to see the code in action. So I'm going to run it into my virtual emulator that running a API 28 and having an Android version Android 9, which is a Pi. So hit OK and wait for the Gradle build to finish. So here you can see that our application is now running. So just type it here Tuesday. So when I click on this check button, so you can see that you got it. So when I click on this show button, so it will show the correct answer Tuesday. But here's the problem. When I click on this next button, so you can see that the next text is appeared, which is the Thursday, I think. But this correct answer and this Tuesday still appear, and also this edit text is not empty. So we're going to handle these cases so that our application will become bug free. So we can handle these cases inside the next button. So at the end of the next button, just press some enter key and just type it here. So first here type it is input.setText to empty. After that, press enter key and then here type txt right answer dot set visibility, then again type view dot invisible at this point of time, because we want to make it again invisible so that user can't see the answer again. Not view dot invisible, it's actually invisible. Now we are setting it to invisible so that the previous answer which will be visible will become invisible. So now it's time to run the application again to see that everything is working fine. So here you can see that our application is now running again. So I will type it here Monday, and if I click on it check, then you can see that you are correct. Then again if I click on this show button, so it will show the Monday as a correct answer. Then if I click on this next button, so you can see that our edit text will become empty and also the text will become invisible. So if I click on here again Monday and again check it, you are correct, and if I click on this next and I get another value, so if I click on this show, so you can see that the Friday is appearing, and again if I click on this check, you are correct, and if I click on this next button, so you can see that both the text will become invisible and also our edit text will become empty. So our application is running fine. So that's all about this lecture. In next lecture, I'm going to add the custom dialog so that when the user click on this check button, when the user answer is correct, a dialog box will appear that greet the user that you are correct. So this will make a little more interactive, means our application looks more interactive and looks more polished. So I'm going to do that in the next lecture. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Dino Code Academy. So in this lecture, we are going to add the custom correct dialog to our Guess the Word application. So if you not watched the previous videos, then I highly recommend you to watch some previous lectures. So let's start this lecture. So switch back to your Android Studio. Then for creating a custom dialog, we need to create a new XML resource file. So inside of this rest directory, just select the layout folder and right click on this layout folder and go to new. Then select the layout resource file. Then name whatever you want. So I'm going to name it as correct underscore dialog. And simply for the root layout, means a root element, I'm going to use a linear layout. Then hit OK. And you can see that we got a new XML resource file. So click on this text view to get the text editor of the XML. Then simply click on this project tab so that you can see everything, and then make a little indentation of the code. So you can see that the orientation is already vertical. So what I'm again going to do, click on this design view. Then from text view, I just place one text view inside of this linear layout. Then again go to the text of the XML, and from there we are going to set the code. So the first code that I want is actually layout width. So I'm going to specify the layout width of the root element is around. Now instead of match parent, here I'm going to specify the layout width and height to 300 dp. So it should be of 300 dp. Then the height is also, I'm going to specify 300 dp. After that, I'm going to specify the gravity that's the layout gravity to center. So you can see that now our layout is actually at the center. Now this text view is also we need to specify the center. So before that I'm going to specify the background color. So the background color I'm going to specify hashtag FF, the simple way to specify the color. You can also use a color.xml file, but for quick color changing I just use this approach. Then hit stick with that color, and after that inside of this text view let's first type a text color that should be of white. Then specify the layout gravity to this text view as well and center. So it's not at appearing at the center. So we need to place this text view inside of one linear layout. So again I'm going to type here linear layout. Then the content should be wrap content and wrap content. Then cut this text view. Just cut it and paste it inside this linear layout. After that, we need to specify some more properties, that is text style. First I'll specify text style, that should be of 40 SP. And again I'm going to specify the text style, which should be of bold. Then margin top and margin bottom, these two properties I'm going to specify. The margin top should be 20 dp and the margin bottom is also 20 dp. And the text I'm going to specify is correct. Then after that, also I want the text alignment to be center. Now it's time to specify the orientations. That's why it's not giving. So orientation I'm going to specify horizontal. And the height is also of wrap content. And layout gravity. So you can see that this is our text view. Now it's time to specify the height and width of this text view to match parent, so that it will match the exact dimension of its linear layout, means the parent layout. So this is our text view and this is our linear layout. Now I am going to cut this color, background color. Let's cut it and paste it inside this linear layout. I want to match to this location, so for that layout width should be of match parent. Now it's look okay for me. That's the thing that I want. For background color of this linear layout, I am going to specify hashtag FFF and just a little gray color. Not darker, just a light dark color. That's okay, and I will stick with that color. And I'm going to click on this design view. So designing take time. It is actually a hit and trial way. You just need to experiment with the code. So just close this hierarchy and I select the text view, expanding this, and from there just select the text view and drag it outside the linear layout. And then I also want a one button. Drag it outside the linear layout. Then again click on this text button to go into the text mode of the XML. And first select this text view. So the same property that we have specified here, from text color to just copy and paste it inside this text view. Now it's time to change the color. So the color I want it black, so type 3 times 0. And text size I'm going to reduce it to 20 SP. No 20, is around 25 SP. Now the text should be changed to, click on continue. Then for the button, also I'm going to specify the same code for button. Just only difference is make it into 35 SP. And then gravity center, click continue. Then from bottom, the margin is going to be removed in the bottom margin. Margin top should be around 30 dp. Now let's increase it to 50. Then also I think it should work 60 as well. 60 dp is enough. Then for this one also margin top is around 30 dp, 40 dp. Now this is the uppermost, this one, not this one that I want. This should be of 40 dp, and just reduce the margin top property of this to 50. So that's the thing. Click on continue and just increase the text size to 30 sp. That's okay. Now it's time to give the color to this button. So first type here background color. So just type it hashtag FFF, and for the color that I want is same color that I have specified to this one. So this is the background color. Copy it. You can experiment with the color whatever you like. Just for the demonstration purpose I am going to use the same color. And another property that I want is text all caps to false. Then for the text I am going to change it to continue. Also specify the ID to BT. So yeah, the designing of the dialog is done. Now it's time to use this dialog inside the main activity. So switch back to main activity. Then so here we are going to call our dialog. So inside of button check.listener means bt check.listener, just inside the if block when the condition is true, just remove this toast. And first here type dialog. So simply go to the third one, dialog, and then create a variable of this dialog. So it should be of dialog, then equals to new, then dialog. Then again here you need to pass the context, that is main activity dot this. And after that add a semicolon. Then simply hit a dialog dot set content view. And here pass the layout file name, that is r.layout, because our dialog exists inside this layout folder. So this is our dialog, this is layout folder. So after that the name of dialog, that is correct dialog. So that's actually our layout is now fetched. Then by here need to create the button variable. So then type bt and then type it here hide equals to, you can name it whatever you want. Simply call it here the variable name of dialog, that is this one. So simply call dialog dot find view by id, then r.id dot, and after that type bt confirm dialog the id of our button. And after that type here dialog dot show. Set the listener to this bt hide variable, means the button. Then type here bt hide dot set on click listener, and type it here new view dot on click listener. Then it would automatically complete the code for us. Then instead of this type a dialog dot dismiss. So the coding is done. Now it's time to run the application to see the code in action. So I'm going to run it to my virtual emulator. Simply hit OK. So here you can see that our application is now up and running. So when I click on this next, so I got a Monday. So it's actually ignore case sensitive, means whatever, if I type in capital letters then it will actually ignore it. So if I click on this check, so I can see that correct, click on continue to continue. You can name it message as. So if I click on this continue, you can see that now there is a problem when I click on this continue. So I want that this edit text should become empty, and also a next functionality will be performed, means the text should be changed. So to do that, at the end of this dialog, we are going to copy the same code, that is we have written at the top, you set the listener to this check button. So inside of the next button, the code we have typed, that is this one, we want this code. So copy it and paste it at the end of the dialog, means after we set the listener to the button hide button, which is a button inside our dialog box. And also we want to make the edit text to empty. So to do that, we are just going to copy this code and paste it at the top here. Now it's time to run the application again to see that everything is working fine. So here you go, our application is now running again. So if I click on this next, so I got a Sunday, and if I click on this check button, so you can see that when I click on this continue, so the problem is still there guys. When I click on the check button, so these codes are executed immediately. So I don't want to do that. Instead, when I click on this hide button, means when the dialog is appear, so you are wrong, we need to type it. So let me first, so again I am going to type SNDAY Sunday. So I want to change the code. You can see that there is a split change. When a dialog is appearing, the content is already changed. So I want to change the content when I click on this continue button. So this is actually the hide button, means BT hide is the variable name. So to do that, just simply copy the code and before the dialog dismiss, paste it here. Now it's time to run the application again. Just simply hit OK. So here you go, our application is now running again. So simply click on this next. So here I'm going to type it here Monday, then back button, and then click on this check button. So you can see that now click to continue. So if I click on this continue, so you can see that when I click on the continue, the edit text will become empty and also the question is changed. So you can make this application to more interactive by adding some scoreboard or also the timer. But for the timer, this is not a good to implement the timer because this is a typing application. So if there is a word is more complex and user has to guess the word, it will take time. This is actually we are using the name of the weeks, like Sunday, Monday. So that's are easy. But if you are actually implement this application to the more complex level, like you have added tons of words which are more complex to guess, so the timer should not be idle for this application. So you just need to add a score button. You can add over here coins listing. Whenever user perform a correct, you can give the chances like 5 chance to user to make a mistake, and after 5 chances were over, so you can just simply you can display a game over dialog and then redirect the user to the different activity where the details of the play of the user are displayed, means a user score list. So you can modify it. So that's all about this lecture and that's all about this video. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from DynoCode Academy. So in this lecture we are going to build the simple calculator application by using Java inside the Android Studio. So let's start this lecture. So head back to Android Studio. So I'm using an Android Studio version 3.3.2. To create the simple calculator application, I'm going to start a new Android Studio project. So click on this start a new Android Studio project, and from there a new dialog box will pop up. Then from there you need to select your activities. So you can see that we have lots of activities. So I'm going to use an empty activity as a default activity and then click on next. So make sure you have selected your Java as a default language. You can also create the project by using Kotlin. So I also have the Kotlin variant of this application. So if you want to watch that video, the link is in the description. Just simply click over here to change the location of the saved project. So I'm clicking here simple and hit OK, and then select the simple calculator and click OK, and then again the package name is I'm going to use a dynocode.myapplication. So instead of my application, I'm going to specify the package name to this one and just make it smaller so that I can't get any error. And also application name I'm going to specify simple calculator. Just paste it. And here you can see that the minimum API level I'm using a Nougat, that is 7.1.1. Now I'm using this API so that I can use all the latest features of the Android Studio 3.3.2 along with the latest API features. Now I don't want to use ActiveX, artifacts and project will support instant apps. Just leave these two unchecked and hit on finish, and make sure you are connected with the internet, because if you are not connected with the internet, then you may face any error. So you can see that our build is finished and now our project is built up successfully. So just minimize it. So when you create empty activity project, you will get two files. The first is activity main.xml and the second is main activity.java file. First we need to create a layout for our application. So we want to edit text along with to display a result, we want a text view, then 4 buttons, because inside of this simple calculator application, I'm going to only perform 4 operations, that is multiply, divide, addition and subtraction. So to do that, first I'm using a constraint layout so that this text view should be here, and we also want to edit text and 4 buttons. So to get all these, I'm going to use a design view. So just click on this design button. So this is the activity, that is a graphical component in which user interact. You can see that its layout is actually set to constraint layout. So when I click outside and when I click on here, you can see that a little pop-up appear that's saying it is a constraint layout. And if I click on this, then you can see the app compact text view, because we are using a app compact supported library that will support the all previous versions of the Android as well. So just start with the edit text. So click on this text, and we want this plain text. Just select it and drag it at the mid of the screen. Then you need to set the constraints. So for just do that, just simply click on here and then here and then here. Just make it at the below. You also want another edit text. Just select it and drag it inside the activity screen. And again select the constraint. So first select this constraint to this edit text and then at the end, and this will be set to this text view. Add 4 buttons. So just click on these buttons and then from there select the button and place it at the mid of the screen. And select the constraints and just set the constraints. So just make it little bigger. So just click on this plus icon. It's here so that it will become easy for me to edit it. And again select the button, which is the second button, place it here, then the third button, and then the 4th button. Then select it and make it set the constraints to all of the buttons. So I'm going to quickly do that, then I will continue the video. So you can see that I have now placed all the UI elements that are required for our simple calculator application. So it's time to modify the design, because that's look not nice. To make it more interactive, just we need to modify the content of these buttons and also this text view and all of these to edit text. So simply click on this text view, means the text button, and it will take you to the XML editor, means the code editor of the XML. So from there we are going to modify the content of these layout elements that are layout along with this edit text and this text view and button. So to do that, just simply select the text view and then first type it here first property, that is text color. So we want a text color to be white. So for that I'm using a /FF. So it will give you a nice white. Now you can also use a colors.xml file. I have showed you that how you can use a colors.xml file to change the color and call that color to multiple times, but for the simplicity or for the quick development of this tutorial, I'm going to give the direct color, but you just go with the color.xml file. You hit again, and here you can see it display nothing. Then here you can write a message result that actually gives the result of the operation, and also change the background color of the constraint layout to some like darker blue. So for that, just select first 3 times 0, and then again click out here. So you want a blue color, dark blue color, so that's the color I want. Then it's time to increase the text size. So type it here, text size, and give it as 40 SP, and also make the text style to bold. So this is the text style, set it to bold. Now we have actually in the text view, also set the alignment of this text view to center, and after that copy the same code and paste it inside this edit text. You can see that it's having 2 edit text property, means the text properties. So remove the first one. So we don't want a text property, instead we want a hand property. And also the background color of this edit text is going to be pure white. Text color hint /FFF. Allow the user to enter your first number. You can see that it's now appearing. So we also want to specify the padding. So I'm going to specify the padding from both sides around 10 dp. Now it's actually inside of the content, because content is actually touching the border of the layout. You can see that now we have a padding. If I remove the padding, then you will see the difference. You can see now if I again specify the padding, then you can see it looks like little good. Then for the same properties we are going to specify for the next edit text. So just copy it from there and paste it inside this edit text as well. So the text size is actually very large. So instead of 40 sp, I'm just going to stick with 30 sp. Not for text view, just for the edit text. Here is the edit text and change the property to 30 sp. And similarly for this one, 30 sp. Then for the enter your second number, I will change the message to enter your second number. Now the designing of our text view and both of the edit text is actually done. Now it's time to modify the design of this button. So first I'm going to select this button and just paste the same code that we have copied. So instead of enter, we will specify here add, and the text size should be of 30 sp, but we also want the height to be match parent. And for the color, I'm going to give it the color of the background. That's the color we want, and also the text color property. So the color hint is not for the buttons. The text color of a button, I'm going to give it as pure white. So you can see that the color of the button is not changing. That's because the Android Studio is actually having a preview error of this Android 3.3.2. So it will be fixed when the new update will be came out. So again, copy the same code from there and paste it for the second button. Then you can see just here having an error. Displaying the add, so first change the bit to match parent and then change the text to subtract. And for the same code we are going to specify for our third button as well. Instead of subtract, we want to multiply, and the width should be of match parent. And this is the last button. This is for divide. So just change the property, paste it the code, and then you can see that the preview of the Android Studio, that's actually the problem exists inside the Android Studio. Let's make it at the top so that it will not go to the bottom of the screen. Just change it to divide, and again change the width to match parent. Now it's time to give the ID, so I will give it as bt divide, and for this one bt multiply, and for this one you can see that actually goes to the top. That because the ID of the content is actually changed. Again need to set the IDs, and for this one bt multiplied, and for that one is actually going to be bt subtract, and again that goes to the top. That because the constraint is actually not set. So again it will came to the center. Then for this one we also want to change the ID to bt add, and again subtract goes to the top. That because the constraint layout uses the ID, and just make it at again to the bottom of the screen. Then for text view, type here simple as txt result. Then next point of time add is goes to the top. That's because the constraint layout uses a text view as the ID. Here you can see that this has an error. So constraint ID text view is actually delete that. Set the constraint. For this one, we set the constraint. So constraint layout little take time to just. Yeah, the designing is done. Now for this to edit text, I also want to change the IDs. So this one is et edit text 3. So just type it here et. Type it here et. Just make it capital so that it is in a camel case. Text is result. Now both of them actually appear at the top. So we want the first change the ID constraint, remove the constraint. You should be at the top. You should below it of this one. Set the constraint. Make it down to the screen. Just remove the constraint and select it and paste it. So constraint layout, guys, will take little time. So that's the layout of the application is done. Now it's time to run the application to see the code in action. You can see that the error is actually in the preview of the Android. So I'm going to run the application to see that everything is working fine. So I'm going to run the application into my virtual emulator that's running a API 28, that is Android 9, which is an Android 5 version. So hit OK. So here guys, you can see that our application is up and running. So you can see that the color of the text view is actually a little darker, but the edit text and the divide actually goes to the bottom of the screen because there is too much spacing is available here. So I need to change the spacing, just make it to this top and just make it to this one actually top. So the constraint. It's time to run the application again. So click OK. So you can see that now it's look nice. Now still it's not appearing properly. So what I can do, I can just move it to a little up, and I can do one more thing, just move it to top little bit. And I also want to remove the action bar because I don't want to use the action bar in my application. So I will simply type here no action bar, and again I am run the application. So that's look nice. Now it's actually looking good. So I also want to change the color of the status bar. So to do that, just go to the background color property and copy it from this hexa code and go to the colors.xml file. Then change the color of both these to darker one that I have specified as the background color of the activity. Paste it and that looks okay. So it's time to run the application again. So here you can see that application is look nice. Now the status bar color is actually matching the entire application color. So you can say ID text. So when I type it, you can see that the hint is actually gone. So that's actually what I want. It's time to fetch all these IDs inside the main activity. Click on this main activity. So here at the top, first declare some variables that will fetch all the buttons, edit text and text view. So first writing a comment, it's time to declare the variable for the button. So simply type button, then again the name of the variable that you want. So I'm going to name my variable name as bt add. Then for subtraction, I'm going to name the variable as bt sub, which is short for subtraction. Then for multiply, simply type bt multiply multiply multiply. Then for divide, I'm going to use bt divide. Then semicolon. Now it's time to declare the variable for the edit text. Simply type edit text, hit a tab key, then et first num comma et second num and semicolon. Then for the result, which is our text view, type note. Then for result, which is a text view, simply type text view equal to txt result. Then semicolon. Now it's time to initialize all of these views inside the onCreate method. Then first type bt, that is bt add equals to find with the id, then r dot id dot, and then the id name, that is bt add. And again for the bt subtract, so use the bt sub equals to find with the id equals to find with the id, r dot id dot, and then type bt subtract. And for the bt multiply, then bt tab key equals to find with the id, then r dot id dot, and then type here bt multiply. And again bt divide is equals to find with the id, the tab key, then r dot id dot, and then again type bt divide. Similarly, we need to initialize all of our edit text. So bt first num equals to find with the id, then r dot id dot, then et first num with a semicolon, then for et second num, press enter key, then find with the id, that is r dot id dot, and again et second num. Similarly for the text view, similarly for the txt result is equal to find with the id r dot id dot, also that is txt result. So initialize all of our views, and also we have declared here all of our views variable. Now it's time to set the listener to the buttons. So for that, I'm going to use implementing of an interface that implements view dot on-click listener interface. So you can see that it's now giving us an error. So simply click on this bulb icon, click on this implement methods, and here you need to override this on-click method. So hit OK. Instead of this, just use our switch statement. So simply press switch, and by using this view variable, that is a v type view variable, simply use view dot get id, and after that open the brackets, means the body of the switch. Here we need to specify the case. So if it is a case of r dot id dot bt add, then we want to perform the add operation. So I'm going to write the logic, but before first I will prepare all the cases. So here type case. In the second case, if it is a case of r dot id dot bt subtract, then I want to perform the case of subtraction. If it is a case of r dot id dot bt multiply, and again after perform break. Similarly for case which is r dot id dot divide, and then we want to perform break. Now here we are going to write the logic. So first thing first, we need to set the listener to all of these buttons. So that thing is actually done inside the onThread. So write a command, set the listener to the button. Remove this R, set extra. And first, the listener is actually add.set. Then here we need to pass the content, that is this, the tab key. And again I'm going to duplicate this code to 4 times. And here change it to subtract. And here change it to multiply. Then hit the tab key. And then here change it to bt divide and hit the tab key. Now the listener is there. I have time to perform the arithmetic operation, that is add, subtraction, multiplication and division. So to do that, just at the top of the on plate, we need to create 2 variables of integer type. So first I will type here int. So at the top of, so here first we need to create a variable of type int. You press a tab key. Then first type it here num1, which is short for number 1, is equal to, then the first num, which is et first num. So simply type here et first num dot get text. So et first num dot get text. We type here get text, and this one dot toString, and hit a semicolon at the end. So you can see that it gives us an error because it's the integer type, and we are actually making the right side here to string. But we need to wrap this. We need to use a wrapper class to pass this string value and convert it into integer. So to do that, we are going to cut this code, and I will type it here integer dot parsing, and inside of this parsing I'm going to paste the code. So now you can see that error is gone. Remove the semicolon, place it outside the semicolon. So you can see that now this is the code. So what will do, it will actually fetch the text from this edit text, that is this one, then it will convert it into string because it is actually in the form of text. So in Android, it means in Java, we need to first convert the text to string so that we can perform some operation. So we want to perform an arithmetic operation, so that's why we convert the whole code into integer by using the wrapper class and by using the function called parseInt. So parseInt will actually takes the parameter which is in the form of string and convert it into integer. Then the left hand side and the right hand side both are integer. So that's now the code is actually fine. Similarly, make the duplication of this code again by pressing Ctrl D at the end of this line, and here changing the variable name to num2, and then change it the first name to into second num. That's the code that we are going to use. Now inside of these cases is the add case. What we are going to do, first we will here declare a variable that is int result equals to. Now we can perform a simple addition of these two numbers. First we will type here num, which is a num1, press enter key, and then the plus symbol which is used for addition, and again for num2, and then a semicolon. Now it's time to set the result to this result variable, that is this one. So to set the result, now this will actually perform the addition operation, and we are going to set the result to our text variable, so simply called text. And here we need to pass the, and then we will specify the real, and then it will accept one parameter. So simply pass a result and capital result. But you can see when we execute this application, we will get an error. So what I mean, if I try to run the application, then I will show you the error. So you can see that our application is up and running. So when I click on here 4 and again click on here 4, so you can see that the text color is actually white. So that's why we are not able to see anything. So go to the activity main.xml. So first click on this edit text. Here we need to specify the text color to black. And also for this edit text, we need to specify the text color to black. Now it's time to run the application again. So you can see that our application is up and running again. So if I click here 0, so that's now the text is appearing. If I again press 4, and if I click on this add, you can see that our application is crashed. That's because we are actually setting the data directly, that is the integer value. So we need to convert this integer value into string so that it can be set into the text view with the use of setText method, because setText method can't take the direct integer value. So for that, to do that, just simply cut this code, and here we need to use a string. The type dot value of, and then press here Ctrl D to paste the result variable code. And if I again try to run the application, so here you can see that our application is up and running again. So if I press here 4 and again 4, and if I click on this tag and click on this, so you can see that now the result is 8 is displaying. So that's the error that I want to show. So if you are actually setting the content directly to the text view by using setText method, so it's better to convert it into string. Means the integer data should be converted into string by calling this string.value of method. So this value of method accepts one parameter that should be of integer type, that is this one. So now I'm going to copy this code and paste it inside the subtract. Again paste it here and again paste it here. So the thing is actually now this, we are actually in the same block, that is this one. So that's why we are getting error inside, because the variable names are same. So what we can do, we can here do a word, it is result A, it is result S, then we will specify result M, and then we can also specify here result B. And again change it a variable name corresponding to their name. Pass the parameter result S, and here pass the result A. Then it's time to change these symbols, that is arithmetic symbols. So this one is minus, so this one is asterisk, which is so this one is asterisk, which is used for multiplication, and this one is for division. Now it's time to run the application again. So now here you can see that we are still getting error. So this is a break, we have specified 2 times break. That is our break, and let's remove these breaks. Now everything is work fine. Now it's time to run the application again. to see the code in action. So here you go, you can see that our application is now running. So type here 16 and here 4 and click on back. So if I click on here add, it will show the 20, and if I subtract it, then it will show the 12. If I click on, then it will show the 64, that is process for the 24, 2, 3, 4, and if I click on divide, then you can see that the result is now our calculator application is working fine. Now our application runs fine. But what if all the edit text are empty? So if I make it empty, and again if I try to build and run the application again, let me show you first an error. Our application is up and running again. So if I click on this add button, so you can see that the application is crashed. Again, if I try to run the application, click on this subtract button, then again application gets crashed, and if I again click on multiply, the application gets crashed, and again if I click on this divide, then application gets crashed. So why this thing is happening? This is because the edit text is empty and we need to add the code to handle the empty values of the edit text. So to do that, we need to make a if comparison. So here at the top of the on click means at the top of the declaration of the variables. So first I am here typing a if, and here I will type text utils dot is empty. Now this method will accept a parameter. So first I will type here et first name dot get text, then again dot to string. So what it will check for the empty value of the edit text. Then similarly, we need to handle the second case, means the second case which is for the second edit text, that is this one. So again I am going to type it here, text utils dot is empty, and inside of this et second num dot get text dot to string. So if both of these values are empty after converting if both of these edit text value are empty, means after converting the get text into string, means a text into string, and if these still are empty, then we are going to show a toast message. And after that, we also need an else statement. So else, opening and closing brackets of else, then all of this code should be inside of this else statement. Paste it. Now everything will be work fine. So if I try to run the application again to see the code in action, so here you can see that our application is up and running again. So if I click it here and I type 20, and here I will type 4, and if I click it here add, so you can see that it's showing 24. Click on subtract, then multiply, then divide. Now if I make it empty again I click it, so you can see there please fill values, and still please fill values, and again if I click on divide, so it is appearing a toast message. So that's actually handle the empty values of the edit text. So that's all about this lecture. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Dino Code Academy. So in this lecture we are going to start the designing of our application. That's a long story application. Now the designing of this long story application is the most important part. So in this lecture we are going to design the main screen of our application. So let's start this lecture. So I have already created an empty activity project inside the Android Studio by using the Java support. Now if you want the Kotlin version of the application, the link is in the description where you can check it out and see how this application is also created by using Kotlin. So when you create an empty activity project inside the Android Studio, you will get two files, the XML file and the main activity file. So for designing the layout, we need to just simply switch to the activity main.xml, but before we need to paste some dependency. So just expand this Gradle scripts and go to the module level Gradle script, that is a module level build.gradle file. Open it, and at the end just we need to paste some dependency. That's a circular image view dependency that is needed for our application. Just copy it and just here simply paste it and click on the sync now and make sure you are connected with the internet. Now if you want this dependency, I can give the link inside the description where you can check it out from there. So just click on this link now and make sure you are connected with the internet. otherwise you will get some error because the Android Studio will try to download some files. Now I will continue the video because it will take a little time. So here you go, our sync is now completed. Just minimize it. Now this is the dependency that we want. Just close the app level module.gradle file, and now we are ready to go designing of our application. So I'm going to click on this project tab so that you can see everything more clearly, and just make it little smaller. Now it's time to design the layout of our application. So first delete this text view because I don't need it anymore. Just delete it, press the delete button, and also change the constraint layout to relative layout because it makes easy for us to make the layout. So and press the tab key, then you can see that now our constraint layout changes into a relative layout. Just deleted this one. Now from there we need a one list view. So just simply you can see that when you type the list view, it automatically pop up. Just simply press the tab key and it will ask for the width. So I will set the width to match parent and height to be the wrap content. Just press enter. Now specify the ID as well. So ID I am going to give it as list. So that's a thing that I want. Now it's time to specify the margin bottom. So the margin bottom I am going to specify 40 dp. Now one thing remember, if we want to specify the padding and margin, then all of these are in dp, that is density independent pixel, and for text size and we use a sp, that is scale independent pixel. Yeah, scalable independent pixel. It's actually whatever you want to say, but for margin and padding we use dps. Then again we need a margin from top, that is margin top. Just type simply here margin and it will automatically pop up. So the layout margin top, and I will specify it to 20 dp. One thing we also need to do that, it's actually we need to just click on this project tab and expand this rest directory and then this values directory, and just click on this style.xml file, and from there just change this dark action bar to no action bar so that we can get a wider area to work inside our application screen. Now the action bar will not be displayed. Now before moving forward, we need to create a one resource file inside this layout file. So just right click on this layout folder and go to new, and then click on this layout resource file. Then from there I'm going to use so we need to create a custom toolbar. So for that just change this to toolbar. Just simply select this Wget 7 toolbar and then type it here toolbar. Then click OK. After that you will get this file, that is toolbar.xml. So just double click it and get into the design view, means the text view of the XML code, and here we need to make some changes, means some indentation. Just press enter key and then again press enter key. So this is the toolbar that we were going to use. Now I am going to set the background color to this toolbar. So just simply type background, hit a tab key, and then again for background color you can use a colors.xml file, or you can also type the background color directly. So the best way to specify the color is hashtag and then type 3 times 0. So I am not opened my number block, so just add here 3 times 0. So you can see that now the background color is actually black. Just click on this square button, means a square icon, and from there you can select the color. I'm going to select this color and make it little dark. So this is the color that I want for my application. Now inside of this toolbar we need to place one text view and image view. To do that just simply press enter key. So the first thing that you want, make it into wrap content. After that we need to do it what here, just simply type here text view. Select a text view. So this is a text view, and all it should be, now the width of this text view should be wrap content and the height is also wrap content. Then type the text as story app. That's a long story app. And also make spacing, because I have the way to type the text in the camel case typing. So just make it space. Now you can see that the text is now displaying. If I will just zoom it, so here you can see that. Now we need to actually modify the code, means we need to make it little more bigger so that it will become easy to visible. So to do that, just simply type here text size. So the first thing is text size. So this is a text size property. Just select it and make it into 20 sp. Now it will be little bigger. So we also need to make it bold. So for this we need to use a text style property. So again type text style property to bold. Now we need to make it into center, means that this text view is actually at the left hand side. So we need to make it into center. So to do that, just simply type it here gravity. So just tap it and just prefix the gravity with this layout. Copy it and paste it at the middle of this layout gravity and just type it here center. Now our text view is actually appearing at the center. Also the text is not visible because it is in black. Just type it here text color, press tab key, then hashtag FFF. So this will actually make our text view color to pure white. Now still is not visible because the background color is also very light. Now it's time to just make this color to little darker. So just click on this square and the color window pop up. So from there just simply select this darker one and just now just again switch to this just darker. So that's the color I want. Now you can see the long text is appearing a little bit better. Now it's time to add the image view. So for that simply type image view, so capital I, that's the image view automatically appearing. So the height and width I'm going to specify it to 25 dp. So type it 25 dp. And also the height should be 25 dp. Now you can see that this image view is actually appearing at the left hand side, but I want to be displayed into right hand side. So to do that, just we need to use a layout gravity property again. So I'm copying the property and paste it, and then from there I just simply change it into right and hit the tab key. Now you can see that it's actually appearing at the right, but now here you can see that the image is actually appearing at the very extreme right corner, or it's actually there is some part is actually cutted. So we need to use a margin property. So that type it here margin from right, and the margin property that I want to specify is 20 dp. Now it's look nice. So we need to place one vector art. So for that, just go to app level directory, then expand this rest directory, then click on this, right click on this drawable directory and select it from here vector asset. Then click on this clip art button, and from there select the settings vector drawable. Now simply type it here settings. So here is our settings. Just simply select it, click OK, and then click next, and then click on finish. Now our vector drawable is actually added. Just double click on it. So it's actually black. So I need a white one. So just click on this and select it here and make it full white. Then again go to just close this here and just again switch to the toolbar, .xml file, and then here type background. So simply type background and just simply add the rate drawable and then select this. Now you can see that it's actually appearing here. So now that our toolbar is now completed, and we just need to call this toolbar inside our activity main.xml. Means inside this we need to include this toolbar. So to do that, it's very simple. Just we need to use the include tag. So for that, just simply type it here include. So I'm typing here include, and then after that need to specify the ID. So I need to specify the ID to this toolbar. So just go to the top and then here specify the ID, and then type it here toolbar. Then we need to use this ID inside this include tag. So just first here simply type ID. So whatever you want to include, it's just with the help of ID we can include it. Then press. And after that we also need to specify the layout, because we have now, because at the end we want a layout. So we need to use a layout property. So there is a layout. So this one's, that is layout, the third one that we want, and then type it here @layout, and that's is automatically showing us. Simply press enter key. Now you can see that inside our list view, and now you can see at the top we are actually having our toolbar. This is how our toolbar looks like. So that marks the completion for this lecture. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Code Academy. So this is our second part of our long story application. So you can see that this is the code we have completed in our previous lecture. And you can see that we have also completed a toolbar, and we call this toolbar inside this activity main.xml by using include tag. So now it's time to complete the activity main.xml design completely. So for that we need a linear layout here. So type it here, linear layout. Not smaller one, just capital one, that is the linear layout. Then width should be match parent and height should be wrap content. Now you can see that it's giving us a warning because we have not specified the orientation. So we need to specify the orientation of this linear layout. So I'm going to specify the orientation to vertical. Then there is a couple of code we need to write it more. The first thing that we want is a gravity. So I will type it here, gravity, and specify the gravity to center. Then the next thing we want a padding, so the padding should be 15 dp. And the next thing we want a text inside of this linear layout. So the another thing that you want to do is first you need to specify it here, align. So align parent bottom, because we need to align this linear layout because right now it is actually at the top. So align parent bottom, we need to set it to true. You can see that now our linear layout jumps it to backward, means at the bottom of the screen. Now we have specified the orientation. Now we don't need this code, instead we want this code inside the text view. I have mistakenly typed inside the linear layout. Just first type it here, another text view. So that is text view, and specify it to match parent, and also height should be match parent. Now it's time to place the code. That's the thing. Now text view is actually taking it here space. Now it's time to specify the background color. So we type it here background, and the color code that is actually similar to this toolbar. Copy it from here and paste it here. You can see that now our bottom right comment is actually displaying. Now it's time to set the text. So I'm going to specify here text, and here I will type it here, write a comment. Simply make it into capital. So that's the thing we want. Now it's actually rendered properly. Also we want to make it into color white, means the color is not displaying properly. So I want to change it to bold first, and then I will change it to text color to be white. And also increase the size of the text to text size, and I will specify the text size to 20 sp. Now it looks very good. So that's all about this lecture. In the next lecture we are going to code the list view item.xml file. So we are going to do that in the next lecture. For this lecture, just simply the tutorial is done. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Code Academy. So this is part 3 of our long story app application development series. So let's start this lecture. So head back to the Android Studio. So in this lecture we are going to design the list view item XML file. Means every list view requires a list view item file so that it can display the list of items repeatedly by using the adapter. So to do that we need to create another resource file, that is XML resource file. So for creating the XML resource file, just click it here, project tab, and go to the layout folder, just right click it and click on new, and then select the layout resource file. Then set the root layout to here to relative layout. Press a tab key and name the file as list view. Now it's actually smaller one, you can't specify the XML name to capital, list view item. Then press OK by pressing enter key. So now we get a list view XML file, that is a list view item.xml file. Now for designing it, I'm going to switch to the text mode of the XML and click on this project tab so that I can get a wider area to work. Just press enter key to make some indentation. So yeah, we are ready to go. The first thing that I want to specify the background color to this linear layout to a pure black. So to give it black, you just need to press 3 times 0. You can use the color.xml file for the reusability of the colors, but I will be specifying the colors directly so that I can develop the application correctly, because I am going to developing a tutorial series. So it will take time, so I don't want to do that. You can do it because it's highly recommended. Then type it here, linear layout, and type the width to match parent and also specify the height to wrap content. Then we need to specify the orientation. So the orientation, actually at the here we need to specify the orientation. So orientation I'm going to give it as horizontal. Now here we need to use a circular view. So to do that, just simply type com.github. So here you can see that when I type it com. So due to the dependency we get bunch of options. You can see that diamond image view, circular image view, bubble image view. It has lots of image view types, but for this application I want a circular image view. You can experiment it whatever you want. Just press here tab key, means the ending of the tag. Then it's giving us an error because every view property has two default properties, that is two main properties you can see that, or you can say that the default main properties, that is width and height. So similar apply to this view as well. So first we need to specify the height. So that is the layout height required. So the layout height I am going to give it as wrap content, and then the width. So width will be match parent. Now the error is gone. Also it's time to specify the ID. So the ID I'm going to give it as ID, press tab key, and then the banner. So that's ID that I want to specify. Also we need to specify the, now instead of wrap content you can see that it's actually appearing and taking too much space. So just we need to make it into just fixing the layout by specifying some 50 dp, because you can see that it's taking too much space, and also width should be 50 dp. Now that's look little bit better because it's taking the whole space, which make it difficult to design. Now we need to make it as Android clickable equals to true, so that we can click on it, and then we need to specify the margin. That is margin from top, it should be 30 dp, and also we need to specify the margin from left and right as well. I'm going to type it 30 dp again, and I'm going to type the margin right as well. Now you can see that our circular image view is appearing, but we have made one mistake here. Actually we need to specify all of this code inside this linear layout. Now it's appearing at the edge of this screen. Now it's time to specify the two text view. So I'm going to switch to the design view, and I'm going to place two text view inside this linear layout. The first is this one, and the another text view I want it. So I specified two text views that should be aligned horizontally. So first I'm going to design these two text views, then the another one. So you can see that our now two text views are appearing. So the another thing that I want to do is just change the text color to white. Let's quickly do that so that I can see that what is actually going in the design. Just copy this code again and paste it inside this second text view as well. Then specify the ID to title, and then the ID of this text view to time. Then we also need to specify the width to the first text view, that is 140 dp, and the height should be wrap content, and then the margin top property that I want to specify is actually margin top is to 20 dp. Then the text size is around 16 dp, and also text color I have already specified it to white, and the text style should be bold. Then similar code is we will be using to our second text view as well. Let's remove this one property because it's duplicating, and that's why it's giving us an error. Now the text time here specifying it to 15 minutes because it's a time. Later on with the user adapter we are going to change the time, that is 15 minutes ago, and here you will type some random name. So we'll type it here size of the text view, so I'm going to specify it to 14 dp. So that marks the completion of for our this text view code. Now also we need to specify a one view. So that marks the completion for the designing of our linear layout code. Thus I'm going to click on this. So here I'm going to type a view, and I will be showing you why I am typing this view. So the first thing is, so the layout which I am going to specify it to match parent, and the height should be 0.5 dp. And you will be, so I'll quickly type the code, then I will be explaining to you. So now you can see that I have completely typed the code for this view tag. I have specified the height to 0.5 dp, then width to match parent, and also I have specified the property margin left and right, and also I have given the background color. Now at this point of time we need to specify the ID as well. So the ID I am going to specify its view. Now at the end we want to display some text view as well. So we want one text view plus one view as well. So I'm going to first copy this view again and paste it here, just changing the ID to view 2. And then I want another text view, so I'm just quickly copy the code from this text view and paste it between these two views. Actually I have copied the blank text view and paste it here. Now it's time to change the ID to comment, and also specify the height and width should be wrap content, that's okay. Then the margin top is around 10 dp, not we want 20 dp. Then margin left and right we need to specify, so there should be two properties we need to add, that is margin right. So the margin right I am going to specify to 20 dp. So the designing actually comes from the practice. I already told you it's very difficult and it's a very time consuming task. So 10 dp, then press tab key. Now it's time to specify the text. So we want to specify some long text, so I just type it here. So I'm going to type some text. You can see that our code is completed. So I just quickly go through the code so that if you make any mistake, so you can correct it. So I have first specified the relative layout, and inside of this relative layout I have specified a linear layout that set the orientation to horizontal. Inside of this I have specified three elements, that is the circular view, image view, and then two text view that you can see it. After that we have specified a one view, and along this view we have specified, actually I have forgotten here to margin top property. So we'll type here margin top property to 20 dp. Then after that I have specified a one text view, that is the main text that contains some comments, then the another view element. So now it's time to see it whether the placement of the text are properly aligned. So you can see it by using this blueprint and just expand it. So you can see that our both the text are another line with each other. You can set it here. So it's not actually properly aligned. So what we can do it, we can actually put them into the another linear layout. So to do that we need to just go to here and just a list view item.xml file, just click to the text mode. Just we can do it, but we can just simply place it inside the another linear layout. So I'm going to type it here, linear layout. Then width should be match parent and height should be wrap content. The orientation that I want is actually the vertical, not rotation, orientation. Just let me cut this code from here. Cut it and paste it inside this another linear layout. Now everything is work fine. Now just specify the margin top to this linear layout is around 20 dp, so that everything will look little bit okay. We can't actually see this layout view.xml file until we code them inside the adapter file. Means we give it this file to the adapter, so that adapter will create a list of items and display it inside this list view that we have specified here. So I have already showed you how list view and adapters are working in the PPT lecture. So if you not watched that PPT lecture, you can get it from the I button, and also the link of the video is in the description. So I'm going to run the applications for the first time so that I can see that everything is working fine or not. So let's simply run the application into my virtual emulator that running a API 28 and having a Android version 9. Just hit OK. Now here you can see that our application is now up and running. So that's our long story toolbar along with the image view vector asset that we have specified and write a comment. So you can see that the list view area is empty. You can see that when I click on the long story.xml file, here list view is showing, but inside when I run the application, the list view is not showing. And that is because you can't insert the item directly to the list view in the XML editor. You need an adapter class to insert the item to the list view. And I have already showed you all this in the theoretical lecture of the list view and adapter and views and view grip. Watch that video, then I highly recommend you to watch the video. You can get the link of the video from the I button, and also the video link is given in the description. Now in next lecture we are going to design the another XML file, that is a main header.xml file that contains all the that before the list view, means at the top we want to display one image, and then after that we will display some description. Then this list view items will be displayed to tell the story of that particular header. So all of these things we are going to do in the next lecture. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Dynacode Academy. This is part 4th of our long story application development series. So this is the application we have now built. We have successfully created our long story.xml design, list view item.design, and also the toolbar. Now in this lecture we are going to design the header, which is the main part or the main thing for our application. To do that, just click on this project tab and go to this layout folder. Just right click it and go to new, and then select it from layout resource file, and then from the root layout just leave it the constraint layout, and the file name just specify it to header, and then press enter key. Then you can see that header.xml file is appeared. Now just minimize it because we want some images to be placed. So I have already taken some images from the Pixabay. Just copy these images. I have cropped these images. So if you want these images, then let me know in the comment. I will provide you these images so that you can do also the practical. Just paste it inside this drawable folder, then paste it, and make sure you are pasting it into drawable folder, not in drawable v4, that's a v24. Then hit OK, then OK. Then you can see that now the images are actually displaying here. And then I'm going to click on this text view. So here is our constraint layout, and inside of this we want a one linear layout. So go to the layouts and then select it here, a linear layout vertical. Just drag it and go to the text view, and just from here just change the width to match parent, and the height is going to be 260 dp. There is 2 dps, so that's the thing we want. Now set the constraints. Now inside of this constraint layout, now linear layout is giving error. This view is not constrained. So what we can do, we can add it here 0, and then from there we can also select it 0, and for there we can also make it a 0. Not even appearing at the center, but we want at the middle, at the top of the screen. So that's the way how you work with the constraint layout. So now the error is gone, you can see that. Now click on this project tab because we are going to place one image view inside of this linear layout. So simply type image view, that is image view, and the image view height width is going to be match parent, and the height is going to be match parent as well. Then for the background, just type it here background, and the image that we want is a cultural_pic. So you can see that now our image is actually displaying. Now we also want another linear layout, so simply click on the design tab and select layouts, and then go to the linear layout vertical and drag it inside this constraint layout hierarchy. So you can see that our linear layout is actually appearing, but it actually takes the whole space. So first we need to specify the height and width of this linear layout to 20 dp. Later on I am going to change these dimensions but for the adjustment of the linear layout, I'm going to specify it to 20 dp. So here you can see that it's actually appearing at the top of the screen. So we need to constrain this linear layout. That's why it actually gives us an error. And from there just select and add it here 8 as well, and then from the left add it to 8 as well, and from there add it to 0. Then select it and add it here. So that's the thing that we want to adjust the linear layout. Then click on this text view so that now we can see that the underlined error is actually gone. Now inside of this linear layout, we are going to place 3 text view. So simply select the text view, and then drag the one text view, and then the second text view, and then the third one. Simply click on this text button that will take you to the XML editor of the code. Then from there, we are going to modify the content of these text views. So I'm going to quickly type the code, then I will be explaining you. So here you go, I have typed the code for the first text view. Now change the ID to as well, like txt first header. So here's the ID I have typed, just make it capital H so that it will be easily readable. So this is how I have now our code looks like. So I'm going to specify the instead of padding right and left, I'm going to specify the directly padding, that is padding, and I will be specifying here 15 dp. 15 dp is too much, so I'm going to make it into 10 dp. Now 10 dp is also very big, so just make it into 8 dp. So that's enough. I think it's okay with the 8 dp. Not 8 dp, I'm going to make it into 5 or maybe 4. So 4 seems to be okay. Now we also want to make the modification to this text, edit text. So to do that, just simply I'm going to type the code and then I will be explaining you. It's very understandable. You can see I have typed this code bunch of times or many times, so you know very well. So I'm going to type the code and I will be explaining what I have done. So now you can see that I have now typed the code for the second text, edit text as well. Now change the ID to this text to like txt second header. So also we want to make it into bold. So again I'm going to type text style because heading should be bold. And also change the text color to text color #FFF. So you can see that now it's not appearing, that because the color and the background is also white. Now similarly I'm going to type the code for this text and modify its style. So I'm going to type the code, then again I'm going to explain it. So here you go, we have now typed the code for our third text view as well. Now it's time to specify the background color to this constraint layout. So simply type your background and hashtag 3 times 0 so that everything is become clearly visible. Now for this edit tag, instead of match parent, I'm going to specify into wrap content. But this time is actually not become too visible, so we need to change its text size. So text size should be 16 sp. That's okay. But here you can see that there is too much padding at the top and the left. So this is because inside the linear layout I have specified the padding from the margin start and margin end. So just remove this padding. Remove this margin. Also we don't want to specify this margin property because that creates a problem. Instead just simply type margin top. It's actually very closest to, so the quick fix for that is I can use a margin top and then here I will type it here 5 dp. That's okay. And also from margin left I will be typing here 5 dp. Now that's okay. seems to be okay. Now the width of this linear layout, I'm going to be typing here match parent. And similarly for this one, just remove this margin left and right property, and also remove this because it creates a problem in our design. Now everything looks fine. Again, just increase the padding. It's making some indentation from top. I will specify 15 dp. So that's pretty much the code for our this linear layout. So in the next lecture we are going to continue this designing of this code, otherwise the tutorial will become very long, so I don't want to make this video too long. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from DynoCode Academy. So this is our fifth part of the long story app development series. So switch back to Android Studio. So in previous part we have designed the header.xml file, and this is the result that we got in our previous video. So in this lecture we are going to continue the designing of this header.xml file. So for that we need another linear layout. So simply click on this design tab and just close these two linear layout. Now we need to drag a one linear layout vertical inside this constraint layout. So to do that, just simply select the layouts, then linear layout vertical, and drag it inside this constraint layout. Now it's time we need to set the constraint, so I'm going to quickly do that because I have already showed you many times. So then I will be continuing the video. So here you go guys, we have now successfully set the constraint to this constraint now. It's a very tricky, it will take time. So I will provide you the source code so that you can from where simply copy and paste it, because it will take time, and the constraint layout for the beginners seems little difficult to adjust because the root layout is constraint layout, and inside of this constraint layout we are actually using linear layout to set the layouts versus layout, and it's very complicated to set it. It will take time, so it will take me around 3 to 5 minutes, so just forget it. Now it's time to place two text views inside this linear layout. So to do that, just simply I'm going to use the design editor, select it and drag it inside this linear layout, and again select it and drag it inside this linear layout. So two text views are now dragged and they are actually now visible. It's not visible purple, so here is that. Now it's time to select the text color to white. Also type the text size, just will be of 20 sp, and then again it's time to text style to bold. And similarly for this text view as well. Now we need to type lot of text inside of this text view. So line spacing extra, we also need to specify line spacing extra. That's a new attribute you are going to learn in this video. So that's a 3dp. Now it actually conveys the meaning itself because it's a line spacing extra. It's actually used to increase the line spacing between the two text, because we are going to paste lot of text in these two text views. Need a margin property, so just simply type margin, and I will be specifying here 5 dp. Then similarly for this one we also need a line extra property. Copy it and paste it. Everything is now pretty much done. Now it's time to paste some text. So I have already copied some random text from the internet. That is the lorem ipsum text. That is one of the most popular free text used to when you want a bunch of text. So just go to the project. So I'm going to use a string.xml file. That is because I don't want to spoil the coding experience of this text view. So simply just click on the string.xml, and here at the end of this style tag, means the end of the string tag, just type it here, Ctrl D, and it will duplicate the code for you, and type long story text, and here paste the entire text that you have copied. Now again switch to the header.xml, and then as a text simply type @string, then long story text. Now you can see that lorem ipsum is appearing. Simply copy it and paste it inside this text view. So you can see now it's actually the layout of our application is now completed. Now this edit text that you can see that if I just remove it, not edit text is actually text view. If I zoom it, you can see that it's actually at the very not aligned properly. So to make it proper aligned like this one, so we need to increase some padding from the left. So to do that, just simply go to this the root layout of these all the three elements, that is this linear layout. So increase it to 10 dp. So now if I say, now you can see all of these are now properly aligned. So there is a 1 dp difference. So just again click on it, 1 dp difference, so make it into 8 maybe. Not 8, it's actually 9. That's the thing, just leave it because you can do it better than me, because I'm actually doing a tutorial to just teach you how you can design the layouts by using combining. So layout actually take time. So that's all about this lecture, guys. Now we have successfully created all of our 4 designing layouts resources file. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Dynacode Academy. So this is our part 6 of the long story app development series. So if you have not watched the previous videos, then I highly recommend you to watch the previous videos. Now our designing of the application is now completed. So you can see that we have successfully created the design. Now in this lecture we are going to implement the actual logic. So let's start this. So first click on this project tab and just expand the directories. So first I'm going to create some packages. So right click on it, click on new and go to package. And here I will name my first package as activities. And hit OK. Then the another package that I want is a new and again package. So I will call it as adapter. And hit OK. It doesn't matter while you are using a capital or smaller one. It's totally up to you. So I'm using a smaller letter case typing. Then the next thing I want is a model. And hit OK. And inside of this, now I'm going to drag this activity inside the activity package. And it will ask for the refractor. So simply click on the refractor. And you can see that our main activity is now in the activities package. Now just right click on this model folder and we are going to use one Java class. So I name this class as story class. Then press OK. So this class is not going to extend anything. So just expand it. So right now you can see that the class is inside this model package. So inside of the story class, we are going to declare some data variable. Now if you are familiar with the object-oriented programming, then you know what is data class. Then simply type it here string, because the first member that we are going to use is our title. So the title is actually a string. Then the next, we want a semicolon. Then the next one is we want is a private again, then integer to store the profile images. So I will type it here profile. Because in Android we store images in integer data type. Now the third variable that we want, or you can say that the data member, again type private and then string and the tab key and then a time. Then the fourth one that we want is, which is also type string, then type it and it is also comment. So these 4 variables that you can say the data members is actually same as the IDs we have declared here, that is comment, that is the another one that is time, and then title, and the another one which is inside the circular view which is called a banner. So this is a banner which is also used for profile, so I'm going to name it as banner. So that's the ID that we are going to use. So now it's time to declare the constructor. So instead of manually typing, we have a shortcut to do the constructor. Just right click on it and go to the generate. You can also press the Alt Enter key. Then here we need a constructor. So we are going to select all of this by pressing the Shift key, selecting all of them and click OK. So it will create a parameterized constructor initializing all of these things. So we don't need to do it manually. Now I also want a getter. So just right click and go to generate again and select the getters. Means the getter method, and then select all and then hit OK. So it will create a bunch of getters method. Now if we want a setter, now I don't need a setter method. If we want, then we can create it in the upcoming videos. So that's all for the story class. Now it's time to close the story class, that is also known as our data class. Instead of this main activity, we need to declare some strings array. So to do that, so let's do that. So all the arrays are going to be public because we want to use all of this array inside this our adapter class. So let's do declaration of this array. So first type public, then let's type string and hit a bracket and then the name of our string variable, which is the string array variable. So I name it as title, and then we want a direct initialization approach, then hit a semicolon. Then I will going to duplicate it into 3 more times. So I'm just going to press Ctrl D and changing the name of the variable to here like profile, and also change the data type to integer because images are going to store in a form of integer. Then the third variable name that we want is time, and the fourth one is our comment. So now that's pretty much done. Now it's time to initialize the values inside of this array variables. So I'm going to add some dummy data, then I will be continuing the video. So you can see that I have now initialized all the dummy data. This is our title, this is our images. To initialize the image, you need to follow this structure, that is r.double.a, and I have entered some dummy time data and some comment. So that's all about this lecture. In next lecture, we are going to create the adapter and pass this data to the adapter by this story class, and then calling the adapter inside our main activity, which is this activity. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Code Academy. So this is the part 7 of our long story app development series through Java. So let's start this lecture. So switch back to Android Studio. So in this lecture we are going to create the adapter. In previous lecture we have successfully created and initialized our arrays, and also we have created the data class. So if you not watched the previous video, then I highly recommend you to watch a previous video. Now to create a adapter class, just right click on this adapter package and go to new, and then click on this Java class, and here you need to type your adapter class name. So I'm going to type it as list view adapter, then hit OK key by pressing enter. So this list view adapter class actually extends the base adapter class. So if you not watch the theoretical lectures, then please watch the theoretical lecture, then you will get a clear idea what is this base adapter class is. So we'll type it here base adapter. So when you extend the base adapter class, immediate package is also imported, and you can also see that the entire class is underlined red. So just right click on this bulb icon and go to the implement method. So you can see that it will ask us to implement all of this method. So hit OK, and this is because this base adapter is actually an abstract class. So luckily abstract class has only the declaration of the methods. So we need to actually override to fulfill the requirement of this base adapter class. Now you can see that list view adapter extends the base adapter class, and we got this bunch of methods. So I already explained all of these methods inside my theoretical lecture. So that video link is actually given in the description. So I highly recommend you to please watch that video. Then you will get a complete idea what actually all of this method does. Then make a room by pressing some enter key. Then here first we need to declare some variable. So first I am going to declare a variable called private context. Now why we need a context? Because this class doesn't have any graphical layout. So in Android, context is like a supervisor that does all of the things and makes things easier for us. So the context is actually when we send the data from main activity to adapter, so that data is actually going to hold inside this context variable. Means the activity that we actually passes here from this. So you will get a clear idea when we are actually calling the adapter inside the main activity. But for this time, just declare the context variable. So this is a context class. Then we need to create the object of the context. So I'm going to type it as context, but here I will specify the mContext so that it will look like a member context. Then again a second variable which is of type array list we want, that is private, and it should array list. So we'll type it here array list. Then this array list is going to hold the data of a story class type. So we'll type it here story class. Then it's time to declare the variable of the story class. So it gives us a suggestion that is story classes, and again I will prefix it by using array list and hit a semicolon. So these are the two variables. So this is the two variables that we want. Now it's time to generate the constructor. So right click on it and go to generate and click on the constructor. Then select both the two members and hit OK. So it will give us a parameterized constructor. So now it's time to create a view holder class. So at the end of this class, just make some room and type it here private, and then type here class, which is a class keyword, and type it here view holder. Then start the body of the class and type it here some variables. So the first variable that I want is an image view. So simply type image view, that should be of profile, semicolon. Then the another one I want is a text view. Simply press text view, then type it here title. I am going to duplicate it 2 times, then changing the variable name to time. Then the last one I want is a comment. So now it's all done. Now we are going to count the size of our story array list. So instead of returning here 0, we want to type the story list, that is story class list dot size. So calling the size method will actually test the actual size of the array list. That will help this adapter class to know that how many elements are going to be drawn inside the activity screen, means how many view elements. Now it's time to go to the get item, and here we need to type story class dot get, and here we will pass the position as a parameter, that is this integer parameter. Now inside of this get view method, the actual thing is going to be done. And inside of this get item id method, we are going to returning the position. So all done. Now it's time to let's start the code, and here we need to write bunch of code. So I'm going to click on this project tab, then you can see everything clearly. So here I will write first view holder. So I will type it here view holder, which is a view holder, and I will create the object of the view holder. Then hit a semicolon. So I'll type it here if data tab key if convert view. So here is a convert view variable is equal to null. Then we need to initialize this convert view. So if it is null, so first we need a layout inflator, then hit a tab key, then layout inflator variable name, then equals to layout inflator. We need to typecast it into layout inflator. Then we need to use the variable which is mcontext dot get system service, and here we need to pass the again context, which is our mcontext, not context, mcontext dot layout inflator. So here I will type it here layout. We need to type capital 1 layout inflator service. So that's the service we want. Now this layout inflator actually inflate the graphical element and passes to and create a view. So this is actually not going to be clear in just one stroke. You need to read some documentation, and the best way to read the documentation is just Google it. Then you will get a complete idea what's actually going on inside the logic. Then the next thing that I want to do is convert view and equals to layout inflator dot inflate, that's the method, and then here we need to pass the layout that inside we want. So it is actually existing layout. The layout that we want to pass is actually expand the rest directory layout. So this layout we want to pass. Just close it, type it here, name the layout, that is our list view, and then we also need to pass the parent. So the parent is actually our parent. Now this argument is going to be false because we don't want to attach our layout to the root one. Then hit a semicolon and press enter, then again click on this project tab. Now it's time to allocate the memory to this view holder variable. So I will type it here view holder equals to new and the class name, that is view holder, then hit a semicolon. Now with the use of this view holder object, we are going to call all of its member, that is this one. So let's do it. So the first thing that I'm going to say is view holder dot, that is time, and equal to typecast into text view. So type it here text view, and then convert view dot find view by id, that is this one, and here we need to type here r dot id dot and then the time. So it actually shows the time because I not type the fully. Then I'm going to duplicate it to 3 more times. Then here I will change the variable name to title, not tube, title, and then the id is also going to be title. Then again the last one, this is one be of, then the third one is going to be comment, and this one is actually is also of comment. And the fourth one that I want is a profile. So the fourth is actually of type image view, it's not a text view. So we need to typecast into image view, and then we also need to type it here profile. That's why giving us an error. Now error is gone, and then convert view, and then we need to initialize it to banner because the ID is banner 1, which is the circular image view we get. Now the initialization is done. Inside the if body block, you can see that. Then the last thing that we want to do inside this if block is actually need to type convert view dot set tag, and here we need to pass the object, that is smaller view holder. That is the name of the view holder object. So that's the thing we want to do. Now here we need to write the else statement, because if the view is not null, then we want to do just a simple thing that we want view holder is equal to typecast it into view holder and just convert view dot get tag. But you can see that this gives us an error because we actually use the class name, we don't use the view holder name. So that's the view holder we want. So once the view is actually not null, so we can get the data from our story class. So to do that, just create the variable of the story class. So that's our story class is equal to story class, and the story class then equals to typecast into story class again, and here we will type first get item, and then we will pass the position and hit a semicolon. Then with the use of view holder object dot title, that's the title dot set text. Then here we need to pass the story class object. With use of story class object, we are going to call the method called get title. And similarly, I am going to duplicate it 2 more times, and here I will change it to time with a tab key, and also the method that I want is a getter method, that is get time. It's again going to give me a title, that is get time. Now this method are actually inside of this class, that is this getters I am going to calling it. So you can see that I am called the get time and get title, and get profile and get comment are still unhide, means the little gray, they are not black. So again I am going to here call another method, that is, so this is a time. Now the third one that I want to change is get comment. Type class, and the variable that I want is a comment. Now the last one is actually our view holder type of image view. So type it here profile dot set image resource with a tab key, and then here type story class variable name, that is story class dot get profile. Now we have successfully set the data with the use of story class object to our views. Now it's time to return convert view instead of null. So just type it here convert view. So this convert view variable is actually the variable of this get view method at the top. You can change it if you don't like the name of the method, but I leave it as default. So now the adapter class is actually working fine. So that's all about this lecture. In next lecture we are going to call the adapter data inside our main activity. Welcome to this lecture. This is Vijay from Dino Code Academy. So this is the part 8 of our long story app development series. So in this lecture we are going to add the main logic inside our main activity. So let's start this lecture. So first, at the top of the onCreate, we are going to create some variables. So the first variable that I want is a private variable, is a private type variable of array list. So I declare here array list, press enter key, array list, and then so for that we need to create some variables. So the first variable that I want is a private of type array list. And array list, then it should hold the data of type story class. And I will type it here story class, and then the name of our variable. So the name of the variable is going to be story class, then semicolon. Then the second variable that I want is private, is of type adapter. So I name my adapter as list view adapter. So that's a list view adapter, then it should be of list view adapter, then semicolon. Then again type private, then we need to declare a variable for our list view. So this is our list view and I will name it as ls. Now it's time to initialize this list view inside our onCreate, because the onCreate is the best place to initialize all the views. So ls is equal to find view by id and r dot id dot, then r dot id dot. So type it here, ls equals to find view by id, then r dot id dot, and then that is the id of the list view, that is list. So I'm going to check it that it's same as the list. So here is our list view id, that is list, that we have initialized it here inside the onCreate method. After that we also want two more variables. The first variable, the another variable that I want is a layout and filter variable. So I'll name it as layout and filter and lf. Then semicolon. Then again a variable of type view. So I will type here a view and then I will type it here header view. Then semicolon. Now it's time to initialize our lf variable, that is layout and filter variable. Layout and filter dot this dot get layout and filter. Now hit a semicolon. Then after that we need a story class variable. Story class is equal to, means the story class array variable initialized into array list, and hit a semicolon. Now after that we need to initialize the header. This is our header.xml. So we need to inflate this header.xml inside our main activity. So to do that, just press enter key, because we have now successfully inflate our layout and filter variable. Now it's time to set the header. So first I will type here header view, then equals to, then we need to typecast into view, that is view, and then we need to type here lf, which is a layout and filter variable. Press tab key, then dot, then we need to call a method called inflate, and then we need to pass the r.layout.header, that is a layout exists in our rest directory, that is this one. After that we need to place a comma, then the root variable is going to be null, means the root parameter is going to be null, then attach root is going to be false, then hit semicolon. Then we need to set the list, means our ls variable, that is list dot add header view. So instead add header view, that is this one, and then we need to pass here a header view variable name, that is header view is equal to the data, then comma, then here we need to pass the null, and then the another argument is selectable is going to be false. So these are the three parameters that we have passed. Now this code actually does what? It actually initializes header at the top of this main activity, means inside the main activity, that is long story XML file. At the top, the first the header will be displayed, and after that the list view is going to be displayed. So now it's time to, we have initialized our story class. Now it's time to start a loop. Thus I am making some room. So here I will type here for. So I'm going to use the for I loop. So here I will type int, then I, then here initialize it to 0, then semicolon, then I is less than equal to title dot length semicolon, then I. Inside of the for loop we are going to declare the first variable of story class, that is story class, then the story class variable name, that going to be story class ob equals to new story class, and type it here story class. Then we are actually going to call a parameterized constructor. So here I will type first profile, then I will pass here I, then the next thing that I want is the title, then again array brackets and pass it here I, then again the another one I want a time and pass it here I, and then the last one is comment, which is also, and then pass it I as an index, then hit a semicolon. So you can see that it gives us an error because the profile int Java Langdo, because now the, okay, so the problem is here guys, actually the arrangement of the parameter that I have passed is actually changed. So you can see that The first is our title, then the second is our profile, then the time, then comment. So what I need to do, actually I need to change the shuffling of this. So just cut it, this one from here. At first type it here and then semicolon and remove this one. So now the error is gone because our first parameter is a title, then the second is profile. So also we need to make sure that the arrangement is actually same. After that we need to press enter, and then here we will call a story class variable, that is story class dot add, which is the method of the array list dot add. So we can here pass the variable name, that is story class ob, and then at a semicolon. Now at the end we are going to set the adapter to our list view. So first we are going to initialize the list view adapter. It's going to a new list view adapter. Then here we need to pass the context. So I'm going to pass the main activity dot this, and then going to pass the story class object. That's it, which is an array list. So what I have done, I have passed this story class and also the context of this activity. So the context is actually going to store inside of this adapter. So the context is actually going to store inside of this context variable, and when this array list is going to store the data inside of this array list. So that's I actually told you in the previous lecture why we declare the context, because in Java we don't have the graphical layout of the Java file. In Android, because this file doesn't have a graphical layout, so that's why we need to make use of the context when we send the data from main activity to any Java class file. Similar thing is also going to happen inside the fragments when we are going to develop the application by using fragment. Now the last thing that we want to do is actually set the adapter to our list view. So list view dot set adapter, then pass the list view adapter as a parameter. So now all the coding of our this application is done. So it's time to run the application to see that everything is working fine or not. So I'm going to click on this run button and I'm going to run this application to my virtual emulator. So hit OK. So here you can see that our application is up and running, but you can see that the layout is actually not looks nice. Now the text is actually appearing at the top of this image view. So the things is getting overmessed because our layout is not properly created. That's why our list view is not going to display properly. And also the problem is here. You can see that our header. So we need to fix it. So let's fix this error. So just minimize the emulator. To fix the issue of the header view, means the header.xml file, I'm going to place all of the content inside the another linear layout. So to do that, I'm going to declare a one linear layout here again. So first I'm going to just type here linear, just to make sure the capital linear layout. Then the width is going to be match parent, and the height is going to be wrap content. Also this is going to be wrap. Later on I will change it to match parent. Then hit enter key and it gives an error. So the orientation is going to be vertical. Now it still gives us an error because the constraints is not setted. So click on the design tab and then select the linear layout, and here just select it to 0 and make it 0. Here also 0. Then make it 0, and then here also 0. You can see that it's actually appearing at the center. That's the thing that we want. Now go to the text view so that it make easy to cut and copy the code inside this linear layout. So just select the linear layout all code, cut from here and paste it inside this linear layout that we have created newly. Just paste it. You can see that it's not appearing. That's because we have not set it the height and width to match parent. So set the height and width to match parent. And for this one is also going to match parent. Now you can see that the text views are not appearing, in which the content of lorem ipsum is actually setted. So the thing, this is the linear layout. So I want to remove these constraints. Just remove it and make sure the height and width of this linear layout is going to be match parent, and also height is going to be wrap content. So that's going to be work. So you can see that, so this will solve the issue of our header problem. Is the problem that is, this problem is solved by adding the all content inside of this linear layout. So this linear layout is going to be the root of all the elements that are present inside this linear layout, and this linear layout root element is our constraint layout. So this will actually solve the issue of the header.xml file error. So you can see that now the list view items are not appearing properly. So to fix that, just open our list view.item XML file. So expand the directory of app, res, layout and go double click on it. And here first what I need to do, just select this text view. That is at the top, this one. So first we need to make sure that should be wrap content. So now you can, if I zoom in, so you can see that now it's appearing properly. Also this line is going to be arranged, so I'm going to increase the padding, means not padding, margin from top is going to be 30 dp. Also this view line, that is this one, is also going to be margin from top is 30 dp. And also for this I'm also going to increase it to margin from 30 dp, that is margin right, sorry, this from margin top is going to be 30 dp, margin bottom, sorry, so this is increase the margin bottom, and then from margin top is going to be 30 dp. This one I have mistakenly click on the another one, margin bottom. Then also we want a margin top, just type it here margin top and then specify here 20 dp, then decrease it to 20. We'll fix it again if the problem still continues. Then also I want to change the color of this text view, so just random text. So here is the color of this text color, so I'm going to select this one and make it little brighter one. So that's our fix the issue of our layout, which is a list view.xml file layout. Now this padding seems to be too much, I think, so I'm going to decrease it into 10 dp again. Now it's time to run the application to see that everything is working fine or not. So I'm going to run into my virtual emulator. So here you can see that now the problem is gone. Our layout looks nice now, the linear layout, and also you can see that our layout list view items are pairing properly fine. Now the problem is here, this padding is actually too much, so we need to make sure the padding, which is this view line from margin top, is going to be 10 dp. Just run it again. So you can see that now everything looks fine. So this is how the application that is created. We have integrated the header at the top of the list view, and this is our list view. So this is actually a custom list view, an advanced form of the list view application that we have created in this throughout the tutorial series, that is a long story app application. So I also want to change the color of the status bar because right now it's appearing green. So just click on this project tab, go to the values directory and open the color.xml file. Then from there just simply first I'm going to copy the color code, that is this one, from here, and I'm going to paste it at the here. Also just hashtag is also appearing, make sure the hashtag is also there. Then again try to build the application. So you can see that now it's looking nice. The entire status bar color is also same like our story app. Now the right comment color is actually different, so I'm going to make the same color for our right comment as well. Copy the code from here along with the hashtag. Just open this listview.xml file. Now this is our list view item, long story, that's one. So I'm going to paste the code again here. Just click on this project tab, paste it, and then it's time to run the application again. So here you go, now the color is same almost. So that marks the completion of our this lecture, and also this is the final video of our this series of the application, that is long story app. That's all about this lecture. If